Welsh selection is James Hook at fullback instead of fly half. What do Wales gain there? What do they lose?
I think they lose a lot. Like I said, I really believe Wales plays a better brand of rugby when James Hook is at 10 because he gets his hand on the ball a lot more. And I think we got strong running centres. The South Africans know where we come in. We need to take the flies off our centres, and James Hook will take the ball to the line. And by taking the ball to the line will mean that he'll attract defenders, therefore taking the flies off the likes of Jamie Roberts and Jonathan Davis.
It's the Maori call to battle. Difficult weather conditions out there in Wellington, but what a match to look forward to. Wales against the champion South Africa. Phil Vickery and Nick Mullins, our commentators.
Two nations who define themselves in sporting terms at least through rugby union, meeting for the first time in a World Cup in the maddest rugby nation of them all. Wales and the World Cup has been a touchy subject, of course, since events in France last time out, but here's an opportunity to exercise the pain of that defeat to Fiji once and for all. You know, if Wales had won that sunny Saturday in Nantes, they would have played South Africa in the quarterfinals in Marseille. They've got the box now, 4 years on in rainy Wellington. The weather has arrived at the World Cup with a vengeance. They don't call it windy Wellington for nothing. We've got the rain thrown in as well for good measure. So conditions will be tricky. They always are here on the southern tip of New Zealand's North Island. The wind whistling through the gap between the Pacific and the Tasman. It's not cold, it's a relatively mild night, but it is very, very blustery. And what a match to open this group between the two powerhouses. I would expect them to make the quarterfinals, but this will really set the tone. Green against red. The most experienced South African team in rugby history about to begin the defence of their trophy. The starting 15 can muster no fewer than 815 caps between them. All in all, they've got 9 players who began the final in Paris. Wales have just 3, by the way, who survived Nantes. Indicative perhaps of the changes Warren Gatland has made. Only James Hook, Shane Williams and Alan Wynne-Jones are still around. The 11 others are poised to play in a World Cup for the first time and poised to sing their songs in a World Cup for the first time. Young Sam Warburton, just the 4th time he's skippered Wales, staring purposefully into the future. supporters have had to be patient to get this World Cup underway. Kick-off is next. Phil Vickery played in an heroic English effort here a couple of years back now. They won that day. How do Wales win this evening, Phil?
Well, it's going to take a monumental effort, that's for sure. South Africa, the most physical test-playing nation, in my mind, in the world. Wales are going to have to be on their guard at all times, match that physicality, and somehow save enough energy to better play some rugby, because they're going to have to score some points to beat this South African team.
Got an Englishman in charge, Wayne Barnes. George Clancy and Vinnie Munro are the touch judges. And on the southerly tip of New Zealand's North Island, Wales and the World Cup are about to be reacquainted against the world champions.
Time your hand, fellas. Watch on.
And it is the new man at 10, Reece Priestland, who has us underway. Ball immediately won by Brosseau, who feeds Habana to explode again. South Africa will drive it through the pack. There'll be nothing flash early on. There might be nothing flash for the whole 80 minutes. We'll see plenty of that. Mornay Steyn launching it high, testing James Hook in an unaccustomed position at fullback. Gathered in by JP Peterson. Delivered back for Fourie du Preez. The advantage that was South Africans
by green, then by red,
was lost, and we will take the scrum because of a succession of knock-ons. Pierre Spies winning his 43rd cap this evening, approaching his best again for the box. Such a strong South African pack. Such a debate about John Smith, the skipper, starting at hooker. He was told he was going to captain the side a couple of months out from the World Cup, which rather forced coach Peter de Villiers' hand. Bismarck, du Plessis waits in reserve. First big set piece of this game, Phil.
Early red, ball down, ball down.
Just what the South Africans would want, what Wales didn't want, gives the South Africans an early chance to apply some pressure.
Du Preez taken on by Smith. Evaded the challenge of Charteris. Steyn running the ball to de Villiers. Du Preez again, taken on by Skultberger. South Africa so relieved to see him making a timely return after breaking his thumb. Kept him out of the Tri-Nations. He'll need game time though, as lots of them will. Peterson to ground. Du Preez again. Steyn. His other outside partner. This is Jacques Fourie tiptoeing his way through the Red Forest. Very, very impressive start by the world champions. They've taken their drive up to within 7 metres of the line. This is Matfield. Rush defence being tested to the mats early on. Berger again involved. The ball was driven through Rousseau. Ball wide. From Steyn for the line, and Steyn scores. Oh, what a start for the box. We are going to refer it to the television match official, but if it is a try, South Africa have scored before Wales have barely had chance to touch the ball.
Well, we've heard an awful lot talked about the Welsh team. The South Africans have come out, kept things very simple, used their big ball carriers, John Smith, carrying the ball well, forwards, backs combining, nothing too fancy.
There's nothing wrong with that, despite the best efforts of Shane Williams and Jane Hook.
There's no reason you may award the try.
Confirmation by the Australian Matt Goddard to the Englishman Wayne Barnes that the South African Frans Steyn has a very early try.
Thanks, mate.
Undeserved. Wales haven't come out the blocks like I thought they would. We all know the South Africans like to carry, get in the game early, and Wales have let them come at them. Simple plays, good footwork, good leg drive. James Hook getting him down, but it's just numbers. This is just simple again. Recycling the ball, getting the ball very quickly. Wales perhaps look at slowing that ball down at ruck time, and it's just easy. There's a man to spare, lots of power, lots of precision, and I'm sure the South African coaches and supporters here are very happy with their team's start.
Grant Steyn, a World Cup winner as a 20-year-old. He's won the bulk of his caps at fullback, unlike James Hook, and the collision between the two of them was not really a contest. And the contest between Mornay, Steyn and the posts very often goes his way also. And it's a 7-point start for the world champions. Steyn and Steyn. South Africa 7, Wales 0. Matfield takes the hit from Charteris. Played away off the boot of Steyn. Surprising aspect of the box start, Phil, is that having had a little peek at the way Wales were doing things training earlier in the week, given the opportunity, we suspect that that's exactly what Wales will try and do. Run with the ball, be adventurous, but the box beat them to the draw.
I think that's exactly what you want to do at the start of the game. Springboks come out, get in your patterns early, get some confidence. And they've certainly done that better than Wales.
Wales, though, getting the ball back at the line-out somewhat fortuitously. It was won by Matfield, but Bennett scampered onto it quickly. And this is the perfect opportunity to wrestle things back, or at least it was. And then the ball was lost forward, and South Africa will have the scrum. Rather messy passage of play. It was a poor line out initially from Hugh Bennett, but he somewhat redeemed himself by scrambling it back on the floor.
Absolutely reacted well, got up well. Victor Matfield doing what he's done for many years, but great play from Wales there. And then just that little mistake. The South African was got back on their feet quickly.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
De Preer into the scrum. Steyn into the air once again. Like all good teams, they don't mess around in their own 22.
Good solid scrum from South Africa. Nice and easy, tight head up, right hand side of the scrum going up, easy pass for the scrum half. Big boot down the field, putting pressure back on Wales, making them have to do something from an area of the field they don't really want to be playing a huge amount of rugby.
No huddle every time.
Second early test for Bennett. First line out went missing, but second one didn't. Won by Alan Wynne-Jones, and this is Mike Phillips. In a duel with Dwayne Peel for the shirt in 2007, rather has it to himself these days, although Tavis Noyle is breathing heavily on the bench. Phillips starts though, as does Rhys Priestland at fly half. His little chip, but gathered in by the South Africans, the two centres combining, and then Fourie de Preer losing the ball, and the kick through from Priestland, but once again another knock on. It is going to be greasy. We've had 4 or 5 hours of rain in the build-up to kick off. It seems to have eased temporarily, but the ball that's been a problem for the kickers proving to be a problem for the handlers early on. What odds you would have got on